Hey everyone! Today we're going to tackle something that's, well, a pretty huge deal online. SEO. That stands for Search Engine Optimization, and we're going to demystify it for you.
So let's be real. This is the big question, right? How do you actually get to the top of Google? I mean, there are billions of websites out there. How in the world do you make sure that people find your stuff? Well, the answer, and what we're going to dive into, is all about mastering SEO.
Okay, so what even is SEO? At its heart, it's not some kind of secret code or magic trick. It's really just the process of making your website more attractive to search engines so it shows up, you guessed it, right when people are searching for exactly what you have to offer.
All right, so here's what we've got on deck. We'll kick things off with a look at how search engines actually work. Then we'll break down the three main pillars of SEO: on-page, off-page, and technical. And stick around, because at the end, we'll talk about the one big thing that ties it all together. Okay, first things first. Before we can even think about optimizing anything, we really need to understand the machine we're working with. I mean, how does Google do it? How does it organize the entire internet? It's kind of mind-boggling, but it really boils down to this constant three-step process. So step one is crawling. Google sends out these little programs called bots, or sometimes spiders, and they just crawl all over the web 24/7 looking for new pages and updates. Then step two, indexing. They take everything they find and file it away in this massive digital library, which is called an index. And finally, step three is ranking. This is the magic moment. When you search for something, Google's engine zips through that entire library to find the best, most relevant answers for you. So our job? It's basically to make all three of those steps as easy as possible for Google.
And that brings us perfectly to our very first pillar, on-page SEO. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's all the stuff that's literally on your pages. We're talking about the words, the titles, the images, everything. This is the stuff you have 100% direct control over.
I love this analogy. Think of your website like a physical store. On-page SEO? That's how you organize everything inside the store. Making sure the signs on the aisles are clear, the products are easy to grab, everything is neat and tidy. It's all about what the customer experiences the second they step inside.
So what does that actually mean for your website? Well, it's about nailing the essentials. Things like using the right keywords people are searching for, making sure every single page has a unique, interesting title, writing those little descriptions, meta descriptions that make people want to click, and using headings to break up your content, kind of like chapters in a book, so it's easy to read. All right, so your store is looking fantastic on the inside. Everything's organized. But how does anyone know it's a great place to shop? How do they even find you? That's where our second pillar comes in, off-page SEO. This is all about building your reputation and trust outside of your own website. Let's stick with our store analogy. If on-page SEO is how you set up your store, off-page SEO is your word-of-mouth reputation around town. It's what other people, or in this case, other websites, are saying about you. Are the other cool, respected shops in town telling their customers, hey, you should go check that place out? And that reputation, online, is built mainly through one thing: backlinks. A backlink is just a link from someone else's website pointing to yours. And honestly, the best way to think about it is that every single backlink is like a vote of confidence. It's another site vouching for you. The more of these votes you get from high-quality, trustworthy sites, the more Google starts to see you as an authority. And that builds up your credibility over time. Okay, last but definitely not least, we have our third pillar, and this one's the real foundation of the whole thing, technical SEO. This is all the stuff that's happening behind the curtain. It's the nuts and bolts that make sure your site actually works properly, not just for people, but for those Google bots we talked about too. So, to finish our store analogy, if on-page is the layout inside, and off-page is your reputation, then technical SEO is the actual building. Is the foundation solid? Is the electricity working? Are the doors easy to open for everyone? Because let's face it, if the building itself is about to fall down, it doesn't matter how great your products are. So, what are we talking about here, really? It boils down to a few key things. 1. Your site has to be fast. Period. 2. It has to be secure. That little padlock you see in the address bar. 3. It has to work perfectly on a phone. That's non-negotiable these days. And 4. It needs a clean structure, so those Google bots can find their way around without getting lost. Let's just zoom in on speed for a second, because this is so important. I mean, think about it. Nobody loves a slow website, right? It's just a fact. When a site is fast, you have a happy user. They stick around, which sends a great signal to Google. But if it's slow, you get a frustrated user who hits the back button immediately. That's a terrible signal. At the end of the day, it all comes back to the user's experience. Okay, so we've got our 3 big pillars, right? You've got great stuff on the inside, a stellar reputation on the outside, and a technical foundation that's solid as a rock. But what's the one thing that connects all of them? What's the thread that ties it all together? What's the real secret to ranking on Google?
So let's recap real quick. We've got on-page, which is your content, off-page, your reputation, and technical, which is your foundation. All 3 are absolutely crucial, but they're all working in service of one bigger idea.
And this is it, the big takeaway. The number one key, above everything else, is creating helpful, original, high-quality content. That's the whole game. See all those SEO tactics we just talked about? They're just tools to help Google find and understand the amazing, valuable stuff you've already created. So maybe the question we should be asking isn't, how do I get to number 1? But instead, how can I create the absolute most helpful answer for the person who's searching?